Hi everyone, it's Cheryl with the Kinsman Library and welcome to Lunch with the Librarian. This will be our first recipe. We have Butterbeer floats. Our recipes were available online under our teen programs and events. So you could have printed them off or just wrote them off that way, or I was sending copies home if you were signing up with the summer reading program. Keep going. Okay. So what we always would do first on our cookbook club is we would read our recipes over so that we know what we were doing and follow the instructions. So if anybody had my cookbook, the things I stressed most was reading your recipe and washing your hands, which has been a really good lesson for right now. Everyone needs to be washing their hands. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to read our ingredients. It called for 4 bottles of cream soda, where I just grabbed a 2-liter bottle, a pint of heavy cream, a cup of brown sugar, a stick of butter, a teaspoon of salt, vanilla ice cream, and a teaspoon of vanilla. So the first thing we're going to make is our butterscotch syrup. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to take your stick of butter, and if you read your recipe and your ingredients, you might have made this in advance so that you can have it cold for putting in your floats as soon as it's done. Okay, so we're going to get our butter melting. And it says to melt it slowly until it's completely melted. That'll take a few minutes. I don't have a clue what setting should we stick it on. You're gonna do it slow, so you're just gonna need to put it like on a medium or low setting because you don't want to brown your butter. So, which is mine is picking up and heating up really quick. But yeah, so you're just going to want it on low because then eventually you'll turn it up to bring it to a boil. It just says to melt it slow and low. So while you're waiting for your butter to melt, you can go ahead and measure out your cup of brown sugar and have that ready so that when this is nice and melted, you can just add it right to your pan. So mine is turned all the way down onto low, and mine is all nice and melted now. So I'm going to take my brown sugar, which I've already pre-measured. I don't know why it's how okay. Let me get that. Break up the chunks if you have any chunks. Just depends upon how fresh your brown sugar is. And it just says on your instruction, adds the brown sugar and then your salt. So and I have my 1 teaspoon of salt. And then it says stir until combined. Okay, you're going to see that it has some sort of like separate from the butter and your brown sugar, but that's fine. Once you add your cream, it'll take care of that. Okay, my salt and brown sugar is all mixed in and nicely stirred. So you know, I always just shake my cream. And you're going to add a whole pint. And you're going to want to bring this to a boil. And once it comes to a boil, you're going to want to take it off the heat, and then you're going to add your teaspoon of vanilla. Whoops. Okay, the cream's all nicely mixed in with the brown sugar and salt and butter. So now we're going to just want to bring this to a boil. And it's not really going to thicken or anything. It's just going to be sort of like a syrup. And if you didn't want to make your own butterscotch, I had made a note on your recipe at the bottom that you could just use like butterscotch ice cream topping. I said it'll work the same way for making butterbeer floats. So that's something simpler and quicker to do. Okay, we're going to let this come up to temp a little bit and see if we're going to get a boil. But so as we're waiting for the boil, we can get our teaspoon of vanilla ready. And I'm just going to set mine here on my plate. Okay, I'm hearing it sound like it's getting ready to heat up. Don't want to boil over because sugar and that'll make a burned mess. You won't like that. Okay. Starting to get some tiny bubbles. We'll wait till it gets a nice little boil going, and then we'll shut it off and add our vanilla. It's kind of getting a little frothy look to it. You don't want to scorch it. Okay, I got a nice rolling boil going. So we'll turn our heat off. Now we're going to add our vanilla. We'll mix that in there real good. And that's going to be your butterscotch sauce. And that's all the cooking we're going to do today. I said it's really simple and easy. So it's all nice and ready to go. So with the magic of doing cooking ahead, I have some butterbeer syrup made already because you needed to cool it. So we're going to give it a quick little stir. And I don't know if you can see it without making a mess, but it looks like butterscotch pudding but runnier. So it's nice, slightly thickened consistency. So I'm going to take, and it says it calls for 4 tablespoons or what's it say? Let me see. 1/4 a cup of syrup or 4 tablespoons. So I'm going to just put in 1/4 a cup here. A little more. Okay. And then I'm going to get my handy dandy little cup. And it says pour the 1/4 a cup of your syrup into the bottom of your cup. We put it in the bottom of our cup. And then it tells us to pour 2 ounces of cream soda and stir. So I got our cream soda. There we go. Hopefully it's not too shaken. So I'm just going to guesstimate. And that looks good. So now we're going to add our vanilla ice cream. And then you will top it off with some more of your pop. And I left my ice cream out so it would get nice and ooey and easy to scoop, because I like the soft stuff. When I eat ice cream, I usually like whip it up in a frenzy anyways. Okay, one nice little scoop. How about we'll go two? My clicker quit working on my scoop. So then we got our ice cream. So then you're going to take and you're going to try and pour slowly so that you don't overflow. And perfect to the top. But guess what? I'm going to top it off with some whipped topping, just to jazz it up. Maybe a little bit more of the syrup. Just a quick little drizzle. I just drizzled it down my hand. And we need a straw. You know, when you try to be neat, at least at my house, I make more of a mess than, you know, it's necessary. And there we go. We got our first Butterbeer float. Thank you for joining me, and I hope to see you next week. And I'm going to taste it now, so don't be jealous. Really good. Thank you.